We're all about the Archers. I'm Philippa.
And I'm Katie.
And we are here to talk to you all about what's happened so far this week. We will be covering episodes on Sunday the 28th of April, Monday the 29th, and tonight, Tuesday the 30th of April, there will be spoilers. You have been warned. So Katie, what did you think of the week so far? What did you think about tonight, Tuesday's episode?
I'm really confused about what this ancient mystery game book thing is. Because in my head, it's just one of those choose your adventure books, you know, where it's, if you want to walk through this door, turn to page 24. If you'd like to go into a different room, turn to page 12. So I'm really confused.
I thought it was Myrtle or something like that. It's just, yes. It's more the tea room delays that have wound me up this week. What have you thought about that?
One of my faves is the discussion about how to cut your cakes and the portions and the fact that they can get different portions out of the Lower Loxley, the orangery cakes and everything compared to the tea room.
And that's why I won't be going to the orangery from a slice of cake. I'll be going to the tea room because the thicker the slice of cake, the more likely I am to return an 8 slices instead of 6 out of a cake. No, I'm not having that at all. Yes. Are you a thin slice cake person
Absolutely.
Or a thick slice cake person, Katie?
I'm not a big cake person. I'm sorry.
No.
I really like fruitcake. Happily have fruitcake, but give me a Victoria sponge and I'm not really that fussed. I don't really like them that much. But if I was in the mood for it, I'd want a big chunk, I think. I don't think I'd want a little slither. I mean, the fact they can get 8 portions out of a square, that was interesting.
Yes, and getting 8 out of a circular one as well, Chelsea does. It's just like, no, they're too thin. It's not good enough. But for those people who are listening, I encourage you to go onto YouTube to have a look at the video of our recording because Katie is sporting the best earrings I have ever seen in my entire life. And let's just say they're biscuit related and leave it at that. But do go along and have a look at that.
Just for you, Pete.
Thank you. Okay, so what else? What were your faves? What were your flops? Tell me all.
Well, I like the fact that Jim was back. I feel like I've not heard from him in ages. And I was just, so when his voice suddenly appeared, I thought, oh, Jim, hi. Not seen you for a while, how have you been? So that was quite nice to hear him. I am struggling a bit with the new Robert. I still can't get his voice. I think this is the first time I've had to deal with a new actor being an existing character. So I don't know how long does this normally take until you're like, that's Robert. I don't know.
Yeah. They're being very forgiving, I think. You know, oh, Robert, come and sit here. Oh, Robert, what would you like to drink? Are you still sitting there, Robert? You know, I think that will carry on for quite a while to help the transition. But I'm sorry, I'm fine with the new guy playing Robert, but I am not fine with Robert ordering, well, in the end he ordered a cappuccino, but he wanted a cup of tea, boiled water with a tea bag, and he wanted to sit in a busy tea room for hours and hours, and then took offence, saying Chelsea practically threw him out. No, I mean, and I love Jim dearly, but Jim going and sitting in the tea room for 2 hours, I was furious. That's not what you do. I thought Chelsea was great the way she encouraged Robert to leave the premises or just buy some cake. I mean, you go out to a tea room and you don't buy any food. What's going on? Boiled water in a tea bag? No, I'm sorry, it's not right. Anyway,
no, I agree. I would sit there and kind of nibble at a cake. If I thought I was going to be there for a bit of time, I would order either a second drink or I would nibble at something.
Yes.
But I'm gonna, next time I sit in a cafe, I'm gonna watch the waiting staff and see if they do that to me, where they're kind of like, oh, could I take your mug?
Yes,
I'm just
wiping.
Clean the table round.
Yes, the aggressive wiping of the table.
Just move your papers while I just wipe this.
But it's the sort of thing where someone
I'm going to be watching.
Yeah, it's the sort of thing where someone sits down at a table for, 8 people and sits there on their own and has finished their drink hours ago. And they're sitting there and everyone else, people are coming in and having to leave because there's nowhere for them to sit. Oh, drive me bonkers. So, yeah. Anyway.
Absolutely. A single cup table hogger. That was what they were labelled as. I quite like that.
Very, very wrong. Go on, what else? Yeah. Faves, other faves.
Oh, I like all the different dancing that's going on in Ambridge. It makes me want to go to Ambridge because I love a dance. Because I do a few little different types of dancing. And yeah, the fact that we've got maypole dancing, we've got the dancer-size stuff that's obviously Zumba, but they're not allowed to say Zumba.
They're just doing the grapevine, I think, repeatedly.
Just a little two-step constantly, and that's about it.
And hands.
But yeah, I'm liking that. Absolutely, a bit of jazz hands, some hand weights and everything. Yeah, absolutely, I'm all for that. I'm also loving Chelsea, the entrepreneur. I'm liking the fact that she's let on that she's trying to make as much money as possible to get herself a car to then start her own little hairdressing business. And it was, yes, go on, Chelsea. It was good. Love it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, she needs to keep at that. But I did have as my flop Emma being so grumpy about Chelsea trying to be an entrepreneur. She was just shooting her down constantly.
And when she was asking her where she should work, she wasted about half an hour on saying, I haven't got time, when she could just have said, and the only helpful thing she said is, well, when you work at the pub, you finish late. Well, I think, even Robert could have come up with that fact for Chelsea. So, yeah, Emma's getting quite like Susan, I felt, which is very cleverly portrayed.
Definitely. Yeah, she is irritating.
I had a question for you about that, Katie. If you were going to be served in the tea room and you could choose between Emma or Chelsea serving you, who would you choose?
I think I'd like Emma because I think she'd leave me alone. I'd be worried that Chelsea would be a bit like, your hair needs a bit of it's not looking great. I feel like Chelsea would just kind of give digs about, have you tried this colour? Or you should give it a cut. It's your last appointment. But for a chat, Chelsea, definitely. If I was in a chatty mood, give me Chelsea. How about you?
Yes, I would want Chelsea for the chat and the honesty and the fun, but I would want to experience Emma's very aggressive payment. How she puts the numbers in and takes the card payment. She's always so cross. So yeah, I'd like both of those. Oh, are we just taking a drink from our merchandise there, Katie?
Oh.
Sorry.
Oh, we are.
We are indeed.
That
yes,
it's a very good link because I like the fact that Will has got merch for Ed and Emma, and so I thought that links quite well with our merch. And I didn't like the fact that Chelsea was slagging off the fact that people go around wearing matching t-shirts. Excuse me?
Yes.
What are we doing?
Yes. Link below.
Brilliant.
In the show notes for the merchandise.
Join the crew.
Yeah. Let's talk about Alice, because last night we had, Jacob discovering her. Was that your fave? Was that your flop?
Well, it's a mix, because the fact that Jacob found Alice is a fave, because I think he's the best person in the village that could have found her, to be perfectly honest, because he's sensible and he'll kind of no nonsense, and he will tell Kate. I don't think he will keep it quiet, because he knows it's not just a little secret kind of thing. It's something that she is going to need help with. And I just feel like I'm glad it wasn't someone who's going to panic. If it was Kate that had found her, or even Lillian, I think it would have just been oh no, and everyone panics and it's end of the world. Whereas Jacob will be kind of, right, going to be pragmatic about this. I'm going to get this sorted. What can we do? How can we solve this? And yeah, I feel like he was the right person. So it's kind of a mix of a fave and a flop for me, I think. And you?
Yeah, I mean, I feel, if I knew Alice, I would feel awful about the situation and feel so sorry for her. But as a listener, I love the drama of it. I love hearing, there was an edge to her voice at one point that made me think, oh, that's a bit of old Alice back. And the lying and the deceit. It's just great drama, and it's so well portrayed. So, yeah, it's a fave for me, which I know everyone's going to hate me for. But as I say, it's not the circumstances, but it's the drama. I don't think Jacob's going to say anything at this time. I think he might give her the benefit of the doubt on this occasion. But I imagine it's a story that's going to unravel further. And I hope that this was just a setback and she will get back on track and everything be hunky-dory, but I fear for what might lie ahead.
Yeah, there's a long journey. I really liked, I know it was last week, but I really liked the fact how they introduced her having a drink, because it was really subtle. And if you weren't kind of concentrating or thinking about it, I think you might have just missed it. But it was when you heard the bottle and the pouring, and then it suddenly registered and you thought, oh no. It was really good, rather than her going, I think I'll have a glass of wine. It was really well done. I thought it was so clever.
I completely agree. There were no words. It was just the sounds, and yeah, I thought that was great as well. I was fearful tonight when the announcer said, and Alistair has got a spring in his step. I thought, oh no, please no. What about Jim? I mean, Alistair didn't get the message at all. Jim practically had to hire a plane and send a message through the sky, invite Denise round. But I love Jim.
But also, everyone's trying to get around. But also, she's still married.
Yes.
And she's still not definitely said she's leaving John, and that things are definitely over. And people seem to be forgetting this. If she was kind of already split up from him, or wheels were in motion and things like that, fine. But she's still very much married and hasn't had... She's said something needs a conversation, but she hasn't split up from him yet.
Yeah. You're absolutely right. So it's the wrong thing. And yes, I think that's not going to be a smooth path.
No, definitely not, with Paul and everything. Definitely.
Just going back to Sunday night's episode, Azra is a GP. She's moving house, yet she's off doing treetop walks with Linda and sounding so chilled. What's she prescribing for herself?
Don't know. I want some. I think she's great. I really like her, and I think I'm glad she's here to stay for a bit at least. I really like her. I think she's a good character.
But the treetop walk, Katie, do you think is that... Because I just can't get it in my mind. I think either it's some sort of rope system at the top of trees with you sort of harnessed walking along, or you're on a path on a hill looking down at the treetops. Which is it?
Yeah. No, in my head, they're just doing Go Ape, which makes it even funnier, because you can just hear Mick and Joy and Azra all strapped up in harnesses trying not to fall off. And in my head, that's what they're doing.
No, that makes perfect sense.
I'd love to know what it is.
Yes, that was quite strange.
I've got a question, though.
Ooh.
Who's Rex's friend? Why do we keep having all this stuff about Rex and his dad and the dodgy ticker, but then Rex's friend is looking after the pigs and they've all gone wild and they're running around the grounds and whatever? But yeah, they keep mentioning Rex mentioned him twice, but they keep mentioning Rex and the fact that he's gone to look after his dad and dodgy heart and stuff. So who's the friend? Are we going to find out, or is that just a random, someone's looking after the pigs?
I think the friend has sort of somehow got locked in the canal boat on the waterway and is bobbing along, going past Darrington or something, and unable to get out to come and look after the pigs. I love this idea of the pigs roaming free in the grounds of Lower Loxley, sort of eating the vines, and I just think good for them. But yes, who is the friend?
Definitely.
What is this about? Does this mean Rex is going? Who knows?
Yeah, because we've not heard from him in ages. So, what's happening with him?
Oh, very quickly, before we go on to Star of the Week, I must just cover food, because we've mentioned it a bit, but not itemised.
Yes.
I have cake, herbs, chocolate on the top of a cappuccino, square cake, round cake, cricket tea, breakfasts. I think that's everything.
And a packed lunch. Did you say packed lunch?
No, I didn't.
Yes, I got one.
Every week I
didn't even write that one down.
Fail again.
Well,
right, predictions. No, Star of the Week. Who's your Star of the Week, Katie?
So I've got Jakob, because I just love him. I think he's great. He's a great character, and he's the right person for Alice. So go on, Jakob. You?
Yes, I agree. I mean, I love the idea of Linda thinking that she's an influencer. or that she'd love to be an influencer, because that just defies my imagination. But yeah, Jakob, absolutely superb. Prediction, have you got a prediction for me?
I've got a couple, yeah. So I've got the whole thing with George becoming this influencer and this 5 million views person that shared it and everything. I feel like this is going more down the incel kind of George, the influencer / incel kind of thing, and it's all going to go even worse. But he's going to start giving his opinions online that people start following and things like that with the after the Bartleby stuff. I don't know. I feel like he's going to take over the channel a bit and something's going to happen with that one. I've also got that Linda decides to get Bartleby to be the panto horse for this winter. And so Bartleby will be on stage, Eddie in the wings, just doing all these wonderful voiceovers. So that better happen because the panto's interesting anyway. So let's get Bartleby involved in it. And then the last one, because they keep talking about the treetop walk, I've put that Ed and Emma are going to get a bit too chainsaw happy and they're going to chop down the treetop walk.
Those are all brilliant. You've come up with really good ones. I couldn't come up with anything. So my sole prediction, groundbreaking as it is that Robert will go elsewhere for his cup of tea.
Dum, dum, dum.
I know. You heard it here first, folks.
Whoa. Oh, good for next. Stop press.
Now, thank you for those of you who are watching this on YouTube. Please hit the subscribe button so you get notifications of when each video is available to watch. There is no interview this weekend. Next weekend there is an interview, and crikey, it's going to be a good one. We're very, very excited about that. As we've already mentioned, there's a link in the show notes for the merchandise and to support us and become a patron and join our Facebook group. But I think that's everything. We'll be back next Tuesday with more fun. I'll be with Quentin. It'll be a P&Q week. But until then, it's a goodbye from me.
And a ta-ra from me.
Bye-bye, everyone.